The world's most expensive entertainment venue is sinking. What's behind the Las Vegas Sphere losing $500 million a year?
It glows like an alien spaceship, but bleeds money like a broken ATM. The Sphere's $500 million annual loss. Tonight's shocking breakdown.
Breaking tonight, Las Vegas's most ambitious project just collapsed financially. The Sphere didn't struggle, it imploded. Tension is mounting across the entertainment industry tonight. A $2.3 billion vision promised to revolutionize live entertainment, but instead of sustainable profits, the Sphere hemorrhaged $500 million annually. Everyone believed the Sphere's technological supremacy would guarantee success. Financial analysts expected sold-out shows to cover operational costs. Investors assumed global expansion would follow naturally. They were all utterly incorrect. Las Vegas, October 2023. Rising above the Strip like a glowing planet, the Sphere opened its doors with a spectacle that stopped the world. U2 launched their residency to instant sellouts. Darren Aronofsky's Postcard from Earth had people walking out of theaters in a daze. For maybe 3 months, Dolan looked like the guy who'd figured out what nobody else could. Las Vegas wasn't just showing off. It was announcing that everything you thought you knew about entertainment was about to get rewritten. And what happened next? The venue that costs more than most stadiums reveals exactly why technological ambition without economic foundation collapses, while investors watch billions evaporate into the desert sky. Dear viewers, between October 2023 and March 2024, something devastating happened in entertainment finance. Dolan pushed too hard, reality pushed back, and the Sphere, spectacular, revolutionary, impossible to ignore, became the cautionary tale every investor now references when ambition exceeds sustainability. This isn't just about one failed venue. This is what happens when business models built on spectacle run headfirst into accounting spreadsheets. Innovation matters, sure, but if the math doesn't work, the innovation becomes someone else's cautionary tale. Here's where it started. October 2023, the Sphere lights up for the first time. And listen, you couldn't look away even if you tried. This thing didn't fit into any category. It glowed like some alien artifact dropped into the middle of the Strip. Over 50 million LED lights covering every inch of that curved surface. Shifting colors, playing videos, basically turning a building into the world's largest screen. Traffic slowed down. People pulled over. Phones came out everywhere. You walk inside and immediately you're somewhere else. Not a concert hall, not a theater, something closer to being inside a computer simulation. The screen doesn't just hang in front of you, it wraps around completely. 360 degrees of visuals coming at you from every direction. The dome towers overhead like you're standing inside a cathedral made of pixels. And the detail? Vivid doesn't even cover it. If you're someone who follows the collapse of billion-dollar projects, this is exactly the kind of story you need to see. Critics called it a new frontier. Musicians described it as the future. It wasn't simply a venue. It was an experience that dissolved the boundary between audience and art itself. But here's what nobody anticipated. That first financial report revealed the truth everyone feared. In its opening months, the Sphere recorded an operating loss nearing $100 million. The sold-out concerts, the international attention, the viral success, none of it balanced the books. By fiscal year-end, losses swelled beyond $500 million. This wasn't a temporary setback. This was a repeating pattern showing the operation itself was fundamentally unsustainable. Think about what keeping that building alive actually requires. Every component demands constant care. The LEDs, the projection systems, the intricate network of servers and sound equipment. The air conditioning alone regulates a massive space packed with thousands of visitors under brutal desert heat. On top of that, maintenance teams, engineers, insurance, security for a 17,000-seat venue that never truly sleeps. The building functions like a living organism, and keeping it alive costs millions every single week. Meanwhile, revenue wasn't keeping pace. U2's shows generated excitement, but much of the profit went to the band. Aronofsky's Postcard from Earth drew crowds initially, but attendance thinned once the buzz faded. The experience, while mesmerizing, offered little incentive to return. Unlike a theater show that changes cast or a concert tour that evolves, the Sphere's programming stayed the same. Once visitors witnessed its grandeur, the mystery was gone. Sphere Entertainment tried adapting. Ticket prices dropped from premium levels around $119 to approximately $99, attempting to attract wider audiences. But price cuts only accelerated the financial bleeding. And then there's James Dolan himself. His name was already well known in American entertainment and sports. As head of Madison Square Garden and owner of the New York Knicks, his career was marked by ambition, controversy, and almost defiant confidence in his own decisions. Knicks fans knew his reputation well: long losing streaks, management disputes, stubborn leadership that sparked endless debate. The Sphere was his boldest move yet. He wanted to build something that would redefine how audiences interacted with art, music, and storytelling. It wasn't meant to compete with theaters or arenas. It was meant to render them obsolete. To achieve that, Dolan spared no expense. The Sphere's LED panels were custom built, the sound system engineered from scratch, specialized teams hired to design content exclusively for its screens. He even launched a dedicated production studio to craft experiences that could exist nowhere else. For Dolan, his was more than business. It was a statement, a legacy meant to prove that imagination could reshape reality. Early triumphs seemed to validate his vision. Press coverage glowed. Celebrities praised the venue. Every show drew international attention. The Sphere became a landmark of modern ambition, an architectural symbol of human potential. But as financial pressures mounted, the very traits that once defined Dolan as visionary began resembling flaws. When ambition meets unlimited resources, it blurs the line between inspiration and excess. In Dolan's case, that line started fading. As budgets swelled and the deadlines shifted, criticism inside the company grew quieter. Bold ideas that once sounded revolutionary became financial risks nobody wanted to challenge. So where did the $2.3 billion actually go? Nearly $1.4 billion went directly into the structure itself. The massive dome, the curved skeleton of steel and concrete, the sea of custom-designed LED panels covering its outer shell, every detail engineered from the ground up to survive brutal desert heat, withstand tremors, support one of Earth's most complex entertainment systems. Then came the heart of the project. Roughly $600 million toward cutting-edge motion, sound, and visual engineering. They built one of the most elaborate sound systems ever installed in a building. Thousands of speakers, each one hidden behind the walls, each one calibrated to hit specific seats with specific audio. The screen, 16,000 pixels tall. You're not watching images on a screen anymore. You're inside them. Everything shifts based on where you're sitting, how you move your head. If the idea of billion-dollar gambles falling apart fascinates you, you're in the right place. The remaining $300 million spread across everything else. The operational backbone keeping the Sphere alive: salaries, consultants, permits, marketing, legal expenses. Creation of Sphere Studios, the in-house production hub, meant to craft original content exclusively for the venue. Yet within those figures lay a painful truth. Most of that spending can never be recovered. The steel, the panels, the custom-built software, the specialized staff exist to maintain the illusion, not generate steady profit. The Sphere's survival depends on movement, ticket sales, constant audience flow. When that momentum drops off, everything starts cracking, and it gets worse. Sphere Entertainment's parent company, MSG Networks, is drowning in debt. Over $850 million they need to pay back, and the deadlines are closing in fast. Refinancing? Getting harder by the month. Interest rates keep climbing. Investors are running out of patience. You're not the only one watching this unfold and wondering how it got this bad. Investor patience thins. The Sphere was supposed to be the breakthrough, the bold innovation propelling MSG into a new era of profitability. Instead, it's beginning to resemble an expensive burden, demanding more money than it can return. What stings most for shareholders? Even with every seat sold, profitability remains elusive. The cost of operating the venue is immense. Energy bills, maintenance, security, staffing, production, all carrying enormous price tags. The break-even point lies far beyond what ticket revenue alone can reach. The Sphere's business model requires near-constant programming to stay afloat, but sustaining that activity level in one location has proven nearly impossible. The result? A venue that dazzles millions but drains resources behind the scenes. Brilliant creation caught in a flawed equation. The technology, design, creativity are exceptional, but the economics don't align with that ambition. Every new show requires massive investment in both production and engineering. Each piece of custom content must recover its cost within a single venue. When the new material takes months or years to develop, the Sphere sits underutilized, its vast potential idling while expenses continue accumulating. Over time, that imbalance grows sharper. The distance between innovation and profitability widens. Still, Sphere Entertainment isn't standing still. Inside boardrooms, plans are forming to shift direction and save the concept from collapse. The focus now? Expansion, but through a smarter, less risky model. Instead of sinking billions into more spheres, they're trying something different. License the technology. Sell the brand. Let other investors take the construction risk. Right now, there's serious talk happening with Abu Dhabi. They want to build their own version. Under this plan, local partners put up the money, handle construction, while Sphere provides the blueprints, tech specs, creative direction. In return, Sphere collects licensing fees, tech integration payments, content rights. They avoid the construction nightmare. Sounds smart, right? Except here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. If the Las Vegas Sphere, sitting right on the Strip with every tourism advantage imaginable, first mover status, global media attention, can't turn a profit, why would Abu Dhabi work? The problem isn't the location, it's the whole model. Operating costs are crushing. Content creation is insanely expensive. People don't come back often enough. Licensing just moves that problem to someone else's balance sheet. If you've been following this story and wondering how it all ends, stay with us. The fundamental problem isn't location. It's the model itself. The operational costs are too high. The content creation too expensive. The audience return rate too low. Licensing the technology doesn't solve these core economic realities. It just hands the risk to new investors who might not realize what they're buying into. So while millions keep staring up at that glowing dome, the real decisions are happening in boardrooms far away. Executives scrambling to find an exit that doesn't end in total collapse. Investors calculating whether to cut losses or throw more money at a vision that's already consumed more capital than most entertainment projects in history. Where executives scramble to find a path forward that doesn't end in total collapse. Where investors calculate whether to cut losses or double down on a vision that's already consumed more capital than most entertainment projects in history. The Sphere stands as proof that humans can build absolutely extraordinary things, but it also proves something harder to accept. Innovation without economics is just really expensive art, and in business, expensive art eventually lands on someone else's books. So while millions keep staring up at that glowing dome, the real decisions are happening in boardrooms far away. Executives scrambling to find an exit that doesn't end in a total collapse. Investors calculating whether to cut losses or throw more money at a vision that's already consumed more capital than most entertainment projects in history. If this kind of breakdown interests you, hit that like button. We're covering more stories where ambition collides with reality. Subscribe because we're tracking what happens next to the Sphere, and trust me, this story isn't over. What's your take? Do you think the licensing model saves them, or is this just delaying the inevitable? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're